everyone, it's Russell Haver with the Russell Haver Group at eXp Realty in Las Vegas. And today we have with us on another episode of Community Connection, we have Sam Marshall of the Marshall Law Group. Welcome, Sam.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Like I said, if you could tell us a little bit about you, describe what kind of law do you guys do there, Sam?
So we do mostly probate and estate planning. We do some business planning. We used to do more of it, but we've been figuring that out more recently. But mostly probate, which is the court for people who have passed away without an estate plan, or if there's a wrinkle in their estate plan, or if there's fighting with the family. And then we do mostly estate planning as well, setting up wills, trusts, power of attorney documents, and things like that.
Oh, very nice. So what made you decide to open this business?
So I've always been kind of interested in estate planning. I had a few mentors when I was pretty young who were in the industry, and they seemed to enjoy their profession. And I have some family members who are also attorneys. And so I had a business of my own for several years. I'm a business major, my undergrad, and so I tried my hand at running my own business, and then the recession kicked in, and that kind of scared me. And so I thought about things that were a little bit more solid and went to law school and worked for a firm for a couple of years where I did mostly general litigation and also estate planning and things. And so I really enjoyed it. And so in the end of 16, beginning of 17, I went out on my own.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So what motivates you today? I mean, you've been on your own since 16, 17, doing well. Like, what's the motivation for you?
Well, outside of just generally helping people, I mean, I used to have a business called callmyfriendsam.com, and I would do computer, training and repair and things like that. And I've just always been kind of the go-to for lots of different things. And so that kind of drives me, just helping people out in my area of expertise and making sure that they don't have a lot of the hurdles and the issues that I experience with probate, trying to avoid those things. And then when somebody is going through probate, just trying to make that process as simple for them as possible, just because I've seen how challenging it can be for families. And just, when you combine money with grief and, unknowns, it just causes all kinds of drama and stress in the family. So my goal is to kind of mitigate that. And that's kind of where I feel the most helpful, is just kind of being that, take the administrative burden off of people so they can focus on the more important stuff.
That makes sense. What about, what is something, I mean, I've dealt with probate on the real estate side, exactly. It could be a bit cumbersome and trying. But what are some things, I mean, within that world or within estate planning, what are some things that most people don't know about the business or things that you do behind the scenes?
Right. I mean, mostly it's the funding of their trust. And so a lot of people have a trust, or if you have a will, it essentially expresses your intention, but it doesn't transfer property during your life. So just because you have a will and you say X, Y, and Z goes to these people, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to avoid probate. If you have a house, for example, it doesn't matter the value. If the house is in your name when you pass away, just because you have a will that says it goes to my friend or to my relatives or whatever, they still have to go through the probate process to do that. And so a lot of people take that first step of putting a will together, and then a lot of people take that second step of putting a trust together, but then at the same time, when they put the trust together, either their attorney fails to advise them, or they just don't understand the process. They fail to fund the trust. And so actually transferring assets to the trust, you can say in the trust, my Bank of America account goes to my friend, or my house goes to my brother. But if you don't actually put the Bank of America account into the name of the trust, or name the trust as the beneficiary, just because you've set it in the trust doesn't make it so. It has to actually be tied to the trust. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that I've seen, is that people have a trust, but they don't actually fund the trust. The other big misconception I think that people have is that a trust is just an asset protection vehicle. There are asset protection devices and trusts, irrevocable or irrevocable trusts and things. But just because you have your property in a trust does not necessarily mean it's not subject to the claims of your creditors and things like that. So I think if you were to ask me the two common misconceptions or issues that I see, one is funding the trust, and the other one is that that trusts inherently are asset protection devices.
Yeah, it amazes me with something like this that people don't defer to the legal experts all the time, like you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
They think
Yeah.
they can just do it themselves.
You can go onto LegalZoom and get a decent document. I mean, I've seen some pretty good documents from people that they just download them online. But then the actual process of funding the trust and transferring your house, you have to do a deed to transfer the house into the trust, and just, recording your homestead, just really simple things that we do every day that people just don't think of. And LegalZoom isn't going to give you a list of things to do after you've established the trust. And I'm throwing LegalZoom out there. I don't really know what their documents look like. But I mean, I've seen some decent documents online, but that's only half the battle. The battle is actually funding the trust. And whether you can make a 401k, whether you can put the trust on as beneficiary, whether you can make the trust the owner of a retirement account, whether, it's better to have a person on there as beneficiary versus the trust. Whereas if you have a person on there as beneficiary, there may be tax savings. Whereas if you have the trust on there, they may have to liquidate the account. If you have minor children, whether to name the minor child as the beneficiary on the account or the life insurance policy, or whether to name the trust as the beneficiary for the minor. And if you don't do it right, you're ending up in guardianship court and probate, and your intentions aren't well carried out if you don't do it properly.
Yeah, it's a lot. My head's spinning just from you talking about it.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say then, Sam? It's such a. To me, it's a very complicated process that you're the expert and you make it much simpler and you do all the heavy work. What are some of the things that clients love about you and the services that you provide?
I think that's it. I think you just said it. Just the simplicity of it. We take something that's rather complicated. Probate is very statute driven, similar to like bankruptcy, where if you don't do one thing right, it's going to push you out several months or cost you several $1,000s. So just making a very complicated and challenging process and a very difficult time of your life simple, and I think that we try very hard not to be a mill in the sense we just turn and burn documents. We try to treat everyone like family and be a part of their life. As they say your physician is part of your health and the doctor over your health, and your attorney is kind of the doctor, the physician over your wealth. And so we do our best to make that relationship something similar to that versus just a document preparation company that just turns and burns clients. And the next time you want to talk to your attorney, you have to spend $350 or $400 an hour just to ask them questions about the documents that they just put together. So we try to avoid that and do our best to provide a full service versus just a product.
Yeah, it's part of the family, lifetime client. Yeah, totally. What are some goals that you have for the firm, for yourself over the next year? What are you hoping to do?
Mostly we just hired a new attorney, and we're focusing on growth. Yeah. And mostly just trying to make the process even more streamlined and simple for clients. So at the front end, I try to be very transparent as to what people are going to expect, whether it's with their estate documents or whether it's with probate. I walk them through the process and things. But I think we could do better at informing them and giving them more, standardized letters. Okay, you're in this type of probate. Here's what to expect and things like that. And that's one of the goals that I have, is to be totally transparent with people, just so that they, when they do have a question, they can refer back to that, versus, anytime there's confusion or whatever, they have to call the office and get explained the same thing that we explain to people over and over again. That's one of my goals, is to be more thorough with the process, because probate, if you have an estate right now over $300,000, the process is taking 8 to 12 months. And so 6 months from now, they may have a question that I did answer at the front end, but if they had something to refer to that said, okay, at this stage of the game, this is what's going to happen, so they can refer back to that. So that's one thing that, just something that I'd like to kind of give to clients to make the process easier for them. And then on the estate planning side of things, we have lots of instructions in our documents as to what to do with how to transfer your assets and things like that. But a lot of attorneys don't think about, after the person has passed away, the instructions for the successor trustee. And they do that, I think, mostly because they just want you to call the office and have the attorney do all the work. Whereas there's a lot of questions that people have that they don't want to necessarily pay an attorney $400 for. And that's something that I've been working on. We do provide some instructions to our clients for the successor trustees, but being more thorough in that and capturing more scenarios that people go through, just trying to make that process even easier and the lifting a little lighter for the future trustees or the people taking over for our clients.
Oh, very nice. So what about what's the best way people can reach out to you guys? Because like I said, I think this is something that's very important for everyone. Like I said, I do real estate all the time. I always, tell people this is the biggest asset they're doing, right? And you're gaining wealth. You really need to be in touch with experts. So where's the best way that people can reach you?
So give us a call. I mean, our phone number is 702-990-8550. You can shoot us an email either to my personal email, just my first name, Sam, at T as in Tom, M as in Mary, L as in Larry, office.com, sam@tmloffice.com. And email is generally the best because I'm either on a call like this or meeting with a client or whatever, but I can email pretty quickly back. I mean, my goal at the end of each day, whether it's realistic or not, is to have 0 unread messages. And I try very hard. Sometimes it gets away from me, and a couple weeks later, I've got 200. But my goal at the end of the day is it's rather ambitious, is to have 0 unread messages. So, and I try very hard just not only to read them, but to reply to them. And so that's, I mean, generally the easiest, because over the weekends, the phones go straight to voicemail. So outside of our normal business hours of 8 to 5, the phones go to voicemail, and we do get notifications that we have voicemails after hours, but email is generally the best in those times.
Awesome. Well, what about what do you like to do around town? What are some of the things you like to do in Vegas, Henderson? Like, what are some, what do you love most about where you live?
So we live in Henderson, and we love the lake. So I've got 6 kids, and we're on the tube and the inner tube and the wake surfing and the wakeboarding and cliff jumping as much as we possibly can. We love being outside. The kids are getting into sports now. My daughter just signed up for volleyball.
Very cool.
And, yeah, we're a very active family. We like to be a part of the school and a part of our church community and things. But yeah, we love pretty much everything about Vegas. I've been here since I was 5, and my wife was born here. So. Oh
wow, you are rarities. You're rarities. Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. I definitely I came here from Chicago, and since 2015 love it. And I always tell people my only regret is I wish I moved here sooner, honestly.
Yeah. If you can tolerate being in an oven for about 3 weeks and then being really hot for another 2.5 months, the rest of the year is actually pretty nice.
Exactly.
Right. And we love it. I mean, you're not too far from the beach and you're not too far from the snow. And so we have family up in Big Bear area. And so we'll go up there and go sledding and things. And then we've got family in northern Utah. So we go up there. And so we like where we're at. We enjoy the community. We enjoy what's happening with the real estate market and how we're bringing a lot of new blood into the town and a lot of new faces. And we really enjoy living here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, Sam. I know you're super busy.
Absolutely.
It's very important, and I wish you all the continued success. And everyone, thank you. And everyone, like I said, checking this out, like I said, reach out to Sam. It's something that's really important to do anytime you're dealing with your finances or anything doing the family. So he is excellent, and you'll be in good hands. So Sam, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. And everyone, thank you for watching. Yes, my pleasure. Everyone watching, have a great day. Thank you.
Okay, stay safe. Thanks.